Would you look at that? This is going to be the countertop to the 70 Scotty. It's heavy. This is hardwood birch, butcher block. Customer found this, shipped it to me. I don't even want to think about what it costs. I've got to cut it down. It's too big. Got to cut it down. I can't make a mistake. I've got to do it. It's what she wants. Customer gets what the customer wants. So I'm going to cut it down. Keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I'm going to work on this right now. Oh my gosh. It is super heavy. Now when I tell you that was hectic, that was hectic. Let's check our measurements. Whew. It looks, look, it looks beautiful. It didn't tear it up bad. Oh, man alive. It still needs to be sanded. We're sitting right at 38. It's 36 and about a half, so I left 3/4 on each end. Either if I mess up, I still have room to work, or I've got a lip on each side. Now I've got to be 20. I want to be 20 because I'm 19 in there, in the Scotty. So let's see where we're at. Dead on 20. Dead on 20. Whew. I appreciate all your thoughts and prayers. I really do. I don't know what I'm going to do because she wants the exact same thing on her dinette table. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to do it. Keep me in your heart. Anyway, this side doesn't really matter. Although it did come out really nice because this is going to go up against the wall. This is the factory finish. It's fine. It's dandy. You know, because we're not trimming it. There's no trim on these. So this will go up and there will be that cove molding. And it'll go just right here. There's no trim here, no trim here. So there's a lot of sanding to be done on that end. That's the door. That's going to be right up against the door. So it's got to look nice. So I'm going to get sanding on it. And then I'm going to get working on the dinette table. Oh, man. All right, let's see how it goes. All right, so far, so good. Now, this is a 36 by 36. You can't, I don't know, I guess you can see up barely to the edge there. 36 by 36. I need this to be a 29 1/4 this way, and then I need it to be about 34 this way. So I've got it measured out. I'm going to try to saw it out, but we got some crazy angles going on, and again, I've got my lucky overalls on. I've got my lucky overalls on. Be with me here. Here we go. 1.5 of hardwood birch is just a lot for a saw to handle. So that's really the only long stretch that I've got right here that I can use this tool on. And you know, it's a great tool to use because it 100% gives me a straight line. The rest of my line makes that curve here, comes over and makes this real heavy curve right here. So I think I'm gonna try the jigsaw, but I gotta be careful. I gotta steady hand. This ain't gonna do it. Steady hand. I'm gonna try it. Hopefully all of this is going in double, maybe even triple time, and you don't have to suffer through like I am. Did you see that? Are you impressed? That was left-handed. I'm not left-handed. Whew. There's going to be some bumpy spots, but I'm going to get some aggressive number 60 grit or 80 grit, and I'm going to smooth this thing out, and because there's no trim. There's no trim here. It's just everything naked that you can see. I'll get working on that, and I'll show you. You'll see it when it's done. Thanks for watching. Countertop. That's this 1.5 thick, super heavy butcher block. It's hardwood. It's really nice. Our customer has chosen a color to stain. It's got poly in it, so it'll stain it and protect it. And it's called honey, but it looks nothing like honey to me. You be the judge. We've already sanded this down with a 220 grit. Got everything going the same way. And that's what we should be doing here. Going with the grain. This is very dark. So we're only gonna put one coat on it. And it takes about an hour to dry. We've got to get the edges because the edges will be visible, and there's no trim on this. So we got to make sure that we got the edges right because you will definitely see the edges. And they're going to be darker just because of the way the wood is cut. And here I just got to remember to go with the grain here without putting too much on. And you got to get those edges. You got to get them really good because this level of wood just shows everything. If you get a 45-degree angle, like your brush is on a 45, that will tend to take out the bubbles. Because you don't want any bubbles left on this when you're done. So keep that in mind. That's just a little trick of the trade. You know, I do hate to paint, but you know what? I don't mind shellacking. I don't mind staining, which kind of seems odd because really it's the same kind of motion really, but it doesn't bother me. Can you see what it's starting to do here? If we were going to go one more coat, we would have to wait an hour for it to dry. It dries in about an hour. And then we have to get like a 400 grit. And we'd have to sand it down lightly because we're not trying to take anything off. We're just trying to scuff it up so that it'll hold the next coat. But I think because everything else is just clear shellac in this trailer. So I just don't see the need so far for any more. Back and forth, back and forth. Try not to leave any marks. Try to work off a wet edge so that you're just a tiny bit overlapping. And I'm not being as careful up here because that's going to all be covered with the sink. So I've got a little bit of room to get in trouble with that. This looks like this might be my last brush strokes right here. Maybe a little extra over here. I think it kind of calls for it. These edges just, they're on a different cut. And so they're going to act different. They're going to look different. So, have to give it the once over twice, I guess, really. So I'm going to get this 90 degree like I was telling you, just like this. Try to straighten out all of my brush strokes. And I'm looking as I go, I'm kind of getting down in the light like this, just trying to make sure that there are no, like right here, that's a bare spot right there. So I've got to make sure that I don't leave that, because that will stick out like a sore thumb. I think I've got just about everything else though. Just kind of take a quick look. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. I mean, I can't imagine putting, let me take this off here, see if I can't show you. I can't imagine putting any more on there. It's just, I think it would be too dark. If you look over here, this one I did, that's the table. That sucker's gonna be heavy, but look at it, it's kind of a little bit darker. It's still just one coat, but it's been sitting, it's sitting in there, it's sinking in, but it laid down real good. So, we're gonna let this dry, and after it dries, we're going to install. I've got a lot of stuff put on the inside. I've got a few more things. Just 2 shelves is really all I'm going to finish. Install these, and really the interior's done. Then we got to get to working on the outside. We've got to hang the tin. Every window on this needs touched. I am going to be busy every night. Come home from work, and I'm going to work on a window. They're bad. They're bad. But we can fix it. We can fix it. While we're in a staining state of mind, here's the back shelf. It gets a clear shellac, and you should be able to see a pretty clear difference between what we just did with that stain. It was called honey, and this clear shellac. The clear shellac is going to give you a little bit. I don't know that you're going to say that it darkens it as much as maybe it brings out the grain in the wood. So I think it looks better with clear shellac on it. Of course, you know I'm an amber shellac guy, but really the really big property of shellac is that it protects. It will, you know, after it dries, it's like that stuff you put, well, maybe you don't, but some women put on their fingernails when they go to the nail salon. That's shellac. The coating on the outside of M&Ms, that's shellac. I'm sure it's a food grade, and this is not a food grade. And so, you know, don't put this on your chocolate and try to eat it. But it is a protective coating. I guess I told you that big long story just to tell you that it's a protective coating. So we're going to do this. This is going to go in the back above the bed. That's just where our customer can go ahead and, if she wanted to put some extra pillows and blankets and, you know, I don't know, whatever people keep above their beds, that's their business. That's really not any of mine. But that's what this is for. It's not a
not necessarily going to be a closet or that kind of storage. It's just going to be a storage for things that aren't going to move around, aren't going to roll. You know, put your blankets and such, they're not rolling around. And if they fall, it doesn't really matter. Alright, you get the idea. I'll finish that front part real quick. You've heard me talk about shellac long enough. I just wanted you to see it. I'm going to go install it here shortly.